got together at a restaurant, spent a couple of hours or more together. And, you know, I've always been very deeply into the Course in Miracles. I had read the first book because I wanted to know who I was talking to. And an amazing, interesting thing happened. I fell in love. Having a little marriage. It's intellectually this is happening now, so. The heart, the mind and the heart together. The teacher God is in the man who teaches the Course in Miracles. Open-mindedness, complete open-mindedness, right? So, what that's for like. Do you want to open with a little?
Support. She wants support from you. Because this is not her forte. She's good at it, but she'd prefer to be in her cabin, scribing, receiving material.
It's been a big support for me. And you know, Course of Love took a long time to get recognition, to find its readers. And that's hard, you know, to have this wonderful thing and to feel like you don't know how to share it with people. You don't know how to get it out into the world. And so everyone who, that's why she talks about support. I mean, I'm just like so thrilled when I get support. It's like John Mundy's support, Kathy's support. It just means a great deal to me. And I think it takes some bravery within the Course in Miracles community to be open to new voices, especially this one, Dean, claiming to be saying that it is a continuation of a Course in Miracles. It's meant a great deal to me. When you're a forerunner of the new, which we are all going to be here, it is not necessarily going to be a peachy keen road. You know, when you're a forerunner of anything, you're going to have challenges. But challenges can do so much for you. That's what I know. So.
I'm just going to introduce you to Mari Perron and her friend Mary Love, who is a big catalyst for the scribing of Course of Love.
In the beginning, yes. But I continue to be a catalyst.
We come to know together. And when you come to know together, you have, it's like something new is being created.
This mountain.
Yeah, it's been like.
We have learned more from this mountain. We've been up, we've been down, we've been lost, we've been found. And it's like we've taken wrong turns. I mean, this is such a metaphor. And it's like, and then we have these happy accidents. I brought this up over dinner, where my hand accidentally hit the hazardous lights in our rental car.
So we're lost.
We're lost on the mountain. It's getting dark. The hazardous lights are going by accident. We couldn't turn them off. And a car drove by and stopped it. And we go, we can't control these lights. And he goes, well, I'll give it a go. So the husband comes in. And then I eke out, can we follow you down the mountain? So here we had this, I think John Mundy said, if miracles aren't happening, something isn't going right. So what you may judge as something gone awry, oftentimes is reshifting you or saving you for just these right moments. But you have to be able to see them. So the mountain has been, what do we say about this mountain?
We're here.
Yeah.
Paradise we found.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we have story after story.
The mountain, well, you'll be seeing more of the mountain. Yeah. It has become our companion. But on the way back, yesterday, we're driving down the mountain again, and we've had so many things. Our memories have flown out of our heads. We're bumbling around. Mari keeps walking to the wrong side of the B&B we're in. And it's just like we get to 321, we come down off the mountain, and I said, Mari, this is really the end shaping of the world. And Mari's like, I really like that. Our world is just becoming different. We're living, so we keep trying to put effort into something. And the minute we do, things fall apart. And so this mountain has taught us, you know, don't play with the mountain. It's, you can climb the mountain, you can come down. But this unshaping of the world that we knew was just so profound. Fountain has given me, I mean, the words for this experience.
The first night, did most of you see me on, what was it, Friday night? Okay, and I heard afterwards, people didn't know that this was a change of plan really until I said something because it seemed like everything was going normal, but we were going to be here an hour early, to get set up and all this, and we got lost. So we're running in at the last minute.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I felt like, well, I can't just read my talk now. I can't get up to a podium because it was everything was so flustered up. And it was perfect. It's like I would have done a different talk if it hadn't been for the darn mountain. Scary. I mean, It was really scary to me. It's like I wanted to do it. And Mary and I had talked about doing it. But she's more verbal than I am, and I'm usually so quiet. And so when I start to talk, I feel like I always fumble around with my words. And I was getting more and more like that. So I finally said, Mary, I don't think I can do it. I think I'm going to have to write. And she went, okay.
No.
Yeah. Barry goes, I need paper.
I
I need paper now. It's like, fine. Before this, is that I heard what Mari and I were called. I was being told we were called a cluster. And I'm like, cluster? And I get these like spiritual breadcrumbs, and then I'm like, in my humanity, I'm like, what does this mean? So I looked it up, and I have to share this. It was such an unusual word, but it intrigued me, my curiosity. And a cluster, astrologically, is a group of neighboring stars held together by mutual gravitation that are essentially the same age, composition, and origin. Isn't that gorgeous? This is the creative friendship that we have.
Jesus, it was my big secret for a long time. I didn't need I thought I would just be ridiculed, so it wasn't. Of course, single mom, I was like, I haven't been a saint or anything, maybe if I'd been a saint. So,
Did you
It's
find
the same thing we get when our families ask us, I wrote the course of love.
yes, yes.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
It's a channel worked by Jesus, and that's when they go, oh boy, mom's in a cult.
Exactly.
She's over you now. Yeah.
And we're so sane, aren't we? I mean,
So did you finally come out of the Jesus closet?
yes, I did. The volume came out. It was easy before it came more of a book that the public was actually reading. That was very, maybe 600 people a year were finding it before this combined book. And it wasn't really sold in the bookstores, so it was. But I gave them to her, and she didn't really ask about them, and so, okay. But when this one was published, she liked the look of it. And so my mother kept this on her coffee table until she died 10 years ago. I don't think she ever read it. But, Mary and I wrote the Grace Trilogy, which was about our experiences with angels. And I didn't want to tell, I would never have told my mother about that because I thought she would think I was, and who was I to get to hear from an angel, the same thing. And then this is the cool thing, Mary's mom and my mom are best friends. Or were best friends.
That's how we met.
That's how we met.
20 years, they had a 20-year friendship, and then we met.
And
So I had heard of Mari, never.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we never thought we'd like each other.
Yeah,
Who
never.
would think that? So my mom is over at her mom's house one day, Mary comes in. You wanna tell the story?
So I come bounding into my mother's, I go, hi Madeline, this is Mari's mom. And we started talking, how are you, fine? I go, you just can't believe it. Mari's talking to an angel. Our mother's eyes just popped out of their heads like boing, boing, boing. And Madeline is from the South, Georgia, her mom, and she goes, "Oh my." And she goes, "Sarah," my mother, "what do you think of that?" And I went on, and then it broke. I don't care what anyone thinks, that's how I'm wired. And I went on about connections, and then my mommy, in a way, shocked but proud of us at the same time. And they had each other. They could, what are we going to do with them? They would take him to a doctor. But it was such this, again, relationship, the relationship of our mothers. They traveled together. They did all these things. I found, and your mothers, they have journals they had kept on their trips. And it's so sweet. And this is the cutest thing. Mari's mom died. In her will, she gave my mother all her shoes. They love shoes because they love the same size. That was in the will. So my mom is just prancing around like crazy. And she's, "These are better than shoes." And then she goes, "We had a thing, about our shoes." So this, it makes, that was such a generous gift. It's so sweet. From heaven to my mother.
But when Mary told me, she said that I was over at my mom's, and her mom was there, and I told her, I'm like, "You what?"
But I didn't know I couldn't sing anything,
I know.
So
I was just,
Oh, my.
it was the sweetest response. They had each other as a support system with their daughters, and they made it through. And I think we're our biggest fans, and they're still mothers, always mothers. So. What we use every day in our language, realize, but we use these opposites in wholeness, and our language reflects this. Up and down, night and day, heaven and earth, in and out, light and dark. Two what appear to be an opposite ends. And I began to question, are these really opposites? We tend to break things into pieces. Night is bad, day is good. Up is better, down is the pits. Heaven and earth, two separate things. We begin to self-divide, okay? I was at a book talk, and this is about self-division. And Mari was up talking to the author, and a gentleman came up to me, and he introduced himself, and he said, "Why are you here?" I said, "Well, about Grace, just briefly, my daughter." And he said, and the trouble I had, even at that point, and he happened to be a priest. And he said, "This is very interesting because I counsel children of frozen embryos. And when they are feeling separate, do you know what they do? They go and sit in the snow." That this is a phenomenon. And I said, "You're kidding." That was such a profound story to me. And how we live in these pieces or put ourselves in these parts in the world instead of this embrace of wholeness. Heaven has given us dual vision while we are here on this planet. There is no learning, it simply is received. This comes in knowing, okay, direct knowing. Nothing is learned, it simply is received. The way you know this is in Revelation, where you learn in complete totality. It comes in knowing the feelings of another's heart, words unspoken, and it's received in messages and dreams. We are spiritually bilingual. really genderless. We each embody male and female energies. These energies shouldn't be in opposition to one another, but they are, in fact, at times. When I conceived of this speech, I used my interior. When you begin to create from nothing, you are in the land of the feminine. When you extend into the world, you have the masculine energy has to kick in. But I'll tell you a very, very interesting story later, but it's coming. So this is how you bring it to the world. Mari, in a million years, could never have received for 3 years without the feminine becoming active and her giving birth to something so great. She held that energy, that feminine energy, and she did not depart from it. To bring it outward, she needed the masculine. She had to bring it in and tell you a story. When Mari was receiving, I was having my own spiritual experience. Probably 22 years ago that this happened, maybe a little bit more. And all of a sudden I hear, this is the androgyny. A split second, everything in me began to come together. I even felt my mind, the hemispheres of my mind, brain come together. Everything. There was no opposition. Their thought was leaving me, if anything, from my husband, even when I wanted to. Oh, honey, John, I have to tell you something. Everything is coming together for me, and I'm really worried. He stands in opposition, and he looks at me, and he puts his hands on my shoulder, both shoulders, and he goes, Mary, it's okay. Be with this. Don't judge it. Let it be. You're just fine. He hadn't said that with hands on his shoulder, I would have shut the experience down. This is how important our connectivity is, how desperately we need one another, how much we need to share. This is essential. Does that make sense to you?
And as I always do, almost always, if I'm going to talk about a rough time in my life, I talk about being a single parent. And I was first a single parent at 17. Well, I got pregnant at 17, my first child at 18. By the time I was 23, I had 3 children and nobody to help me. And that life was so hard, so powerless. I felt so as if I had nobody to depend on. I felt ashamed that I'd been so stupid. You know, I mean, this is what people would say, how could you be so stupid? You know, I thought you were going to do, I thought you were going to do that. And so did I. You know, I thought I was going to have this, I was already registered for college and everything. So that always comes up when I'm going to talk about the dark. I was also going to talk about my grandmother. Now, I am going to bring these together. I always wanted to be a writer. So from an early age, this is another reason that the darkness of not having that freedom to go to college and the freedom of my young years, just it lived in me because I knew I had this potential as a writer. And in the 80s, I went to a writing workshop and I brought with me this writing that I had done about my grandmother. And I had called it By Heart. So this is before Course of Love, before any spirituality. This writing was called By Heart. And Anne Lamont was one of the people there, and she told me I was the best writer at the whole conference. And she said it in front of people. And I was like, I walked out of there, and I can remember still the feeling of the stairwell rail, and the steps beneath. Like I was somebody different. I was walking. So my aspiration was not spiritual. It was to be a writer. So, but the thing about my grandmother She was from the South. Her name was Ivy. And her parents died when she was young. Her two older sisters went to work in the cotton mill. She was sent to an orphanage. And her little brother was sent to a farm to help the farmer, you know. So loses her parents, goes to the orphanage, loses the rest of her family. Then she meets my grandfather. He's an immigrant from Sicily. She was working in the cotton mill then, I think. By then she was in the cotton mill, and he'd hang out outside the cotton thing. And anyway, they have 6 children. Boom, 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 Catholic guy. And she wasn't raised a Catholic. She wanted to explore other religions, and she did. She fought him like a demon. I mean, there were stories of tables flying. You know. Women didn't really do that then. Or we don't care about it. They got divorced. She's got 6 kids. She splits her house into 2 and gets a rental unit on one side. Eventually, she gets a couple little duplexes built up on the big lot, you know, so all these things. But I was told she fussed. And this was secret language for people, for a child, thinking from the adults, sheltering that she was mentally ill. She was placed, when my mom was young, I don't remember exact details, but I went and researched it. She was in the worst, one of the worst mental hospitals in the history of the United States, in Milledgeville, Georgia. And I thought I wanted to write her because I felt sorry for her. I felt sorry for her because everyone kind of, you know, oh, your grandmother fusses. You know, don't be worried about it. Your grandmother fusses. And you know what she did? She would walk the porch after we were all in bed. And we'd go to visit her. We'd be sleeping there, and she'd walk the front porch. And I heard the sound of her slipper and her cane as she walked. And she fussed, which meant, to me, she ranted. She was a woman getting all that anger and hurt and everything out of her. There was no therapy that I'm sure that she was really ever given. But she would fuss. And it just realized something so profound. And this happened, I'm telling Mary, I didn't tell you the whole story. There's horrors upon horrors. But I was telling Mary the other night, because we got to talking about it, because this by heart, I started thinking about this novel for no reason, about how I started it, and I had that acclaim, and you know, from one person it meant so much, and but I thought that I was writing that because of that connection to someone who had such a horrible experience, and I was sad for her. And then when I'm telling this to Mary, and it's like, you know what? She was a freaking feminist. Look at what she did. And honestly, it had never occurred to me before. It was like all of a sudden the switch I'm talking about, and I'm like, my God, look at the life she had. Look at these things that she did. She cared for all these people. Oh, she was like famous for caring for sick people. I mean, this was just, and then I thought, and hey, I got that whole freaking single parent heritage I've been carrying around with me, and look what I've done.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it behind now. You know, it's like, but it was a by heart moment. You know, it was one of those things where the pieces of your life, what you do in this course, it's not about the intellectual side of things. It's about your life. It's about you and how your life affected you. What held you back? What helped you go forward? What your essence is. You know, what did you come here to do? Because you were created because you are essential. You are essential. You are essential to be here in this time. What's essential for you to do here? This is also kind of funny. It's like, I feel like this new person, you know, that I've just been released from something, and
It's free. The other thing, I have to do it all alone. No matter. You can have help and you can sit there and you think, well, nobody else is gonna, I have to do everything. You know that.
Yes.
How many single mothers do I have?
It's really tough. It is really, really tough.
I don't
And
know.
I always felt like I had to do it alone. My brother always said, Susan, you never call me until the car is going off the cliff.
Exactly. You know, you don't want to be needy, but you can't help to when you are the only person caring for children.
You know, what about other people?
Am I the only one that drank through it?
7 years sober, I'm
Better for structure around that. It's like you want the dialogue, but you want to structure it. And if you structure it,
Yes.
it's not dialogue. Exactly.
Yes.
So this is the kind of new that we're running into that's very perplexing to people. And I think it's exciting. We are here for this time. Jesus says this, I mean, it's so, the end is so prophetic. We are called to such wholeness, to be the forerunners of the new, the pilgrims and pioneers and forerunners of the new. It's like, I've really experienced that. To try to make a change to an old spiritual culture is not easy. And even just among people who really love A Course of Love and want to make the change, it's so hard to get away. And Mary was so good for me. I said that the other night, but because she'd say, what do you say, Mary? You know, when I talk about
What do you
Jesus.
feel too?
Yeah. What do you say? How do you feel? You know, these getting away from the thoughts, the mental way of taking in this sacred literature, and to come back to the heart. It's all leading us there. And the very first, words on that sense of you have to come back to the heart in order to get this. It's like all your learning, all your thinking is not going to do it. This is what's going to do it. The heart. The heart's desire to know, and desire to know who you are.
The biggest sham, I think, if you want to call it, that judgment can place on us. We don't think of it that way.
Yeah, I was thinking of feelings where it says all feelings are good. All
Yes.
feelings are positive, and we reject them.
Exactly.
And sadness
I'm included.
sadness is that.
It's a response, yes.
Yes.
In a minute, judgment sets in.
Yes.
In fact, you're triggering something in me. When Grace died, my stepdaughter, who was 8 years old, I always read before I go to bed. My husband was downstairs, and Amanda crawled in bed with me. And I put my book down, and she said, "Did Gracie die because of me?" And I said, "Why would you say that?" She goes, "Well, I read her goodnight moan in the hospital. Maybe she got mad." And so she helped us. I mean, something so sweet. But what she didn't know, and if I had been more, and I said, "No, that isn't why she died." And she said, "Well, how do you know?" And I said, "Mothers know these things." But what I didn't tell her, and I have regrets over, is that I too held back. Did I do something that could have done this? I carried my child. Did I walk in front of a microwave? Did I tried to eat right, I did eat right, but you tend to take this blame on, this judgment on. And it came back time and time again after I heard the voice of my daughter. But this is this is exactly what happens still. When you have a misunderstanding and this division sets in, when wholeness is the realness we need to deal with, to be in. Changing the
Shaping
world.
the world.
Yes.
So that we quoted about that we will do greater.
Yeah, well-
But I think what's connected to that, part of that parable,
Yes.
was that Jesus says that if you have the faith of a mustard seed and say to a mountain, move, it will move into the sea.
Oh my God! See, this is why we are great. I'm taking you home with
I've been
me.
going like, I didn't want to interrupt you.
See, this is how the androgyny works. I'm just, as good as you are. I'm as good as our shear. Thank you so much.
So I think, in that, I'm not 100% sure, but right about there in that scripture,
Yeah.
Jesus says, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you will say to the mountain, move, and it shall be moved into the sea. And so I thought of that because of the reshaping.
Yes.
Okay.
The unshaped.
The unshaped.
The unshaped is really a metaphor. And this comes to me because of this connectivity I'm feeling and what kind of our experiences together. But it is so imperative that we understand this kind of dismantling of things is normal. If we judge it, that's when division sets in. That's when judgment sets in. That's when I could have stopped the feeling I had of my husband if I hadn't shared. This is how important sharing is. You're telling me that is such a gift. And this spiritual signature that I'm talking about is really extending who you are, which you just did.
And then also going to when you were talking about male and female.
Yes.
When I was in 7th grade, we were dissecting the worm. We all did that in science, right?
Yes, yes.
And we were dissecting the worm, and I was very devoted to Mary. And I always questioned how she could have a virgin birth that they taught us about. And I was cutting this earthworm, and the nun said that the worm could reproduce itself because it had male and female. And I had a thought, and I still have all these mistakes with me. If a earthworm could reproduce itself,